Well, this will be considered live number one now since it's a new day. Check out my previous lives. Just a little while ago, uploaded content pertaining to a man out of Texas who's received 6 years in prison for infecting women with herpes through urine. He was peeing in water bottles and a dispenser at a medical building, uh, office building, worked for different offices, cleaning as a janitor. He has now received 6 years. Lucio Diaz, 53 years of age. And my other content is pertaining to the Idaho 4 roommates, Dylan and Bethany, the crime scene, what's missing, the description of the crime scene. I've been talking about this for almost a week now. And now we have more devastating news. These girls were up texting one another. News 7 is the source if you need verification for this information. New court filings in the University of Idaho case continue to fill out the timeline of communications by two surviving roommates in the hours between 4 other students being killed in their house and when they called 911. The brutal killings of the 4 University of Idaho students, Madison Mogan, Kaylee Gonsalves, Santa Cornado, and Ethan Chapin, took place at an off-campus residence in Moscow. 2022, Brian Korberger is charged with their murders, has pleaded not guilty, and faces the death penalty in a trial that is set to begin in August. In a court filing released Wednesday, defense attorneys for Korberger took issue with what they say is the state prosecutor's selective use of phone records for surviving roommates Dylan Mortensen and Bethany Funk on the early morning of November 13, 2022. They advocated for the judge to prohibit prosecutors from showing the prosecutor's selection of the roommates' messages to the jury, or for the judge to allow more phone records to be admitted at trial so the jury can see what they call a fuller picture of what transpired. CNN previously reported that phone records show Mortensen and Funk exchanged panicked text messages when they couldn't reach their other housemates around the time investigators believe the killings occurred between 4 a.m. and 4:30. Mortensen texted Funk at 4:22 saying, "No one is answering." Funk says, "Yeah, dude, WTF." Mortensen then texted Funk that she saw what looked like a masked man in their house saying, "I'm freaking out." Funk later texted Mortensen, "Come to my room and run." The new defense filing says Funk accessed Snapchat, this is Bethany, and Instagram shortly after the text exchange and called her parents hours later. So you would get on Snapchat and Instagram after someone's just texted you they saw a guy with a ski mask on? Bethany. And then you also called your parents hours later. Wow. So did you ever go to sleep, Bethany Funk? Dylan Mortensen, did you ever go to sleep? I don't think you all went to sleep. If you did, it could have been no more than an hour. Records previously released in a motion by prosecutors suggested Mortensen renewed her efforts to reach the others in the house at about 10:23 a.m., only after waking up and realizing that she had not heard from her roommates. So what time did she actually wake up? I'm curious. Because when we go over these court documents, I'm trying to figure out when did they go to sleep. I'm just saying. But Korberger's attorneys now say Mortensen joined Funk in her room and their phone activity was only dark for about 3 hours. According to the defense filing, Mortensen's phone records show that she was awake earlier than the prosecutors claimed she woke up. The defense filing reveals a string of phone activity for Mortensen and Funk not previously made public. Funk and Mortensen, identified by their initials in the court documents, were both using their phones by around 8 a.m. The new defense filing claimed Funk, this is Bethany, first called her dad's phone at 7:30 a.m. Okay? Oh, thank you so much, Black. I appreciate that. 1 second. Let me get this monkey out of here. All right, everybody. So Funk first called her dad at 7:30. The defense's motion details the following call activity and social media accessed by the roommates, picking up hours after their text exchanges, and Funk last accessing Instagram at 4:37. And that's around the time when they believe he left out Mr. Korberger. He left the scene, possibly in a car, about 4:36, somewhere in there. So now she's done accessing Instagram at 4:37. Very interesting. Here we go, everybody. I'm going to put this on another device that's bigger for you to see. 7:30 Bethany calls her dad. 8 o'clock, she calls her dad. 8 o'clock calls another number. Who's the other number? 8:01, she calls home, okay? 8:02, calls her mom. 8:09, dad calls BF, calls Bethany back 7 minutes later. 8:05 to 10:45, she's on Instagram. Dylan, doing what exactly? 8:41 to 8:42, Bethany's taking photos. Taking photos of what? 9:04, mom text. Don't know which mom that is. Bethany, 10 o'clock to 10:01, to DM message, incoming and outgoing Snapchat. 10:01 to 10:03, Dylan's on Instagram. 10:03 to 10:04, Dylan is on Indeed. Guess that's a job site, Indeed. Woo, this is some crazy shit. 10:04 to 10:23, Dylan messages incoming, outgoing Snapchat. What the fuck is this? In the motion, Kohlberger's attorneys prosecution's claims that Mortensen woke up to realize her roommates hadn't responded to texts overnight. Okay? So basically, the defense is saying this girl ain't slept and then decided to call at 10:23. Mortensen tried again to reach Gonsalves and Mogan starting at 10:23 a.m., asking if they are awake. Are you up? 2 question marks. The new defense filing says Mortensen used Snapchat, Instagram, TikTok, and texted her dad hours before she reached out to Mogan and Gonsalves again. So now we've got the next messages after 10. 10:23. Dylan is messaging MM. Okay? 10:24 to 25. She's on Instagram. 10:30 to 10:45. Messages incoming and outgoing. Snapchat. To whom? 11:21. JM texts Bethany Funk. Who is that? JM at 11:21. Now remember, the 911 call doesn't go in until about 11:55. 10:56 to 11:29. DM is on Instagram and messages on Snapchat. So all this is right before the 911 call. 11:29, Dylan texts KG. Who is that? 11:29 to 11:32, DM on Instagram and messaging on Snapchat. To whom? 11:35, she's on Yik Yak, whatever the hell that is. Then we've got 11:36, she's on TikTok. So she's going from one app to the other. Then we've got 11:37, excuse me, everybody. Sorry about that. Yik Yak at 11:35, 11:36 TikTok, 11:37 Snapchat, 11:39, 11:40. She's now texting her dad back. 11:49, Bethany calls this JM again. 11:50, JM texts DM. 11:44 to 11:50, DM's on Dylan is on Instagram. 11:50 calls EA. Is that the emergency services? Who was that? 11:51, JM texts Dylan. I don't know what the hell's going on here. Back again, 11:54 to 11:55. JM texts BF 3 texts. 11:54, 11:57. Dylan's back on Instagram. Oh my God. Funk eventually called 911 at 11:56 to report Cornado unconscious at the residence, records show, and 2 other friends could be heard with them on the call. Okay. Funk. So it's Funk that called initially. I thought it was Dylan, but they kept switching the phones around, so you really can't tell who was who. I was trying to decipher the voices. So now we learned that Funk that made the initial phone call, not Dylan. A transcript of the surviving roommates' 911 call was also released with a filing earlier this month. The transcript shows the chaos as Mortensen and Funk passed the phone between them, answering the dispatcher in fragmented responses. The transcript does not identify the speakers by name. Other unnamed friend with them also spoke to the dispatcher. Are we going to find out that unnamed friend is one of these people here texting the girls? The girl who was standing there with them talking. So forgive me for getting their names mixed up during my live streams of Dylan doing the talking. I just assumed she was doing the talking because at the end, she addresses Bethany to go up there to the room. And you can tell Bethany didn't want to go because she said, "Come on, Bethany." So forgive me if I got their names mixed up during the 911 call. So we got 11:51, JM text DM, 11:54 to 11:55, JM text Bethany 3 times. 11:54 to 11:57, DM is back on Instagram, social media, which is a while. Funk, Bethany Funk, dials 911, 11:56 to report Cornoto unconscious at the residence, record show. 2 other friends could be heard on with them on the call. Once again, transcript of the surviving roommate's 911 call, also released with a filing earlier this month. Transcript shows the chaos of Morrison Funk passing the phone back and forth with between them, answering the dispatcher in fragmented responses. The transcript does not identify the speakers, as I just said, by name, but shows another unnamed friend with them also spoke to the dispatcher. Heavy breathing, crying can be heard throughout the call. CNN obtained an audio recording of the call after the transcript was released. Prosecutors have indicated they expect both surviving roommates to testify at trial and want to use their text messages to illustrate the timeline of the night. Defense attorney Ann Taylor has pointed to what she described as inconsistencies in law enforcement interviews with Morrison and Funk. In the latest defense filing, Korberger's attorney calls into question why the surviving roommates didn't call 911 sooner. Exactly. No matter what, no matter who did what, that is the question of the hour. Why were you all not inclined to call 911? And if you're so shocked, Dylan, how are you on social media? And both of you calling people, texting people up until 11:56 from 7:30. So you count the time, 7:30 to 11:56. It's 4 hours. So when did you all go to sleep? Despite her stated fear of leaving her room, she does so and joins BF downstairs to get to BF's bedroom. DM passed the front door of the residence. Okay? BF was steps from the front door. Neither of them left the house. Neither of them called friends, family, or law enforcement for help, the filing claims. The defense brief was among dozens of court filings released Wednesday as the parties make their case to the judge about what should and shouldn't be admissible evidence at trial. In another defense filing released in the tranche, Korberger's attorneys say many alternate perpetrators can be connected to the crime, and they have evidence they want to show the court. Well, now. Well, Ms. Annie Taylor, what do you have to show the court? What perpetrators do you have to show in conjunction to this crime, since your client, BK, didn't allegedly commit the crime? Prosecutors plan to call law enforcement witnesses to testify about a test run they conducted to show that it was possible to commit 4 homicides in a time frame of only minutes, including time to walk to and from a car, remove blood-covered clothes, a defense filing says. Korberger's attorneys say they need an expert to testify about his developmental coordination disorder to show the jury he was not physically capable of committing the crime that they argue requires such speed and coordination. ABC 7 News is the source if you need verification for this information. This is a picture of Mr. Korberger at 10:31 in the morning, same morning after killing these kids. Thumbs up, freshly showered. I say this was his message to the universe. I did that. I killed those 4 kids. I got away with it. Look at me. Welcome to the Vault Excel. Dylan, Xana, Bethany, Kaylee, Maddie. An illusion. Everybody's not your friend. Let me make that clear. Everybody's not your friend. And I believe this 911 call and these texting transcripts show that. They were not concerned for self, because self is first, okay? You're supposed to care about yourself first if you don't care about anybody else. And the fact that you would watch a masked man walk by you and act like it's nothing and get up texting everybody and their damn mama tells me, one, you didn't care about yourself, and you did not care, Dylan, about any of those ladies. And Bethany, you didn't care either, because you were doing the same damn thing with like her TikTok, yik yak, patty whack. Shit don't make no sense. So nobody seems scared to me. Okay? That's my opinion. I'm going to go into the belly of the beast of some information that someone has sent the Queen pertaining to Mr. Korberger. Hope you all are well. This is a blown up picture of the picture I just showed you of Korberger with the thumbs up. His knuckles look awfully white, kind of swollen. That's like a cut right there. It's red. You can see it. It's fresh. Something there would be your pinky bruising. And there. Did you cut yourself under your thumb, Mr. Korberger? Thank you, Pale Rider, for sending me these pictures. Blowed up. Hello, everybody. Make it make sense. Sorry about that, everybody. Try to stand it up if I can. Amazing what technology can do. Looks like cuts right there, unless he's got freckles. Stay woke. You see, the state is trying to set up a timeline of this fear factor. Oh, they were calling each other, texting each other, calling Pookie, Ray Ray, Bubba, Shamiqua. But what the state don't seem to realize, it still looks bad because it doesn't show fear. And nobody can tell me that this is fear. Calling all these people hour for hour for hour for hour. At some point, you are getting lucid by the minute. Come on. You would have to tell me they were still drinking, if we even know that they drank that night. So I don't know. Okay, I don't really know what the hell was going on. Sorry about that. Prove to me they were drinking, and they were just so out of it. They didn't know what they were doing. Just saying. Make it make sense. That looks like a fresh cut, bruising cut or something there. Very pink and fleshy between the fingers. White knuckle. Cuts look like they're up there. And then when the police stopped him, that still shot where he and the father are in the car, it does look like maybe there's a wound on his inside of his wrist. Because his jacket or whatever was exposing his wrists. Make it make sense. Why are you all calling all these people? I want to try to read this the best I can because it's in small print pertaining to the exhibits. It's a lot of information. It's really too much to read. On November 13, 2022, approximately 4 p.m., Moscow Police Department, Sergeant Blaker, and I responded to 1122 King Road, Moscow, Idaho, hereafter the King Road resident, to assist with scene security and processing of a crime scene associated with 4 homicides. Upon our arrival, the Idaho State Police forensic team was on scene and was preparing to began processing the scene. MPD officer O.F. Smith, one of the initial responding officers of the incident, advised he would walk me through the scene. I may have read this a couple years back. OFC Smith and I entered the King Road residence through the bottom floor door on the north side of the building. OFC Smith and I then walked upstairs to the second floor. OFC Smith directed me down the hallway to the west bedroom on the second floor, which I later learned through Xana's driver's license and other personal belongings found in the room was Xana Cornoto's Cornoto room. Just before this room was a bathroom door on the south wall of the hallway. As I approached the room, I could see a body, later identified as Cornoto's, laying on the floor. Cornoto was deceased with wounds which appeared to have been caused by an edged weapon. Also in the room was a male, later identified as Ethan Chapin. Chapin was also deceased with wounds later determined. Autopsy report provided by Spokane. That's something redacted. Let me see. Based on numerous interviews conducted by MPD, detectives, FBI agents, as well as my review of evidence, I have learned the following. November 12, 2022, Chapin and Cornoto was seen by BF at the Sigma Chi House University, Idaho campus. I'm trying to figure out why this was redacted. This is about what you sent me. This is confusing to me. 1, 2. Let me go over to page 2 and see if I see something else. Yeah, it stops right after that. That Cornoto, deceased with wounds which appeared to have been caused by an edged weapon. Then also in the room was a male, later identified as Ethan. Was also deceased with wounds later determined. Nowhere do you hear he pushed the door open. Anybody was laying on the door. Just as I entered the room. I then followed OFC Smith upstairs to the third floor of the residence. The third floor consisted of 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom. The bathroom on the west side of the floor was later determined to be Kaylee Gonsalves' room. I later learned from review of the officer Noon's body camera, there was a dog in the room where Moscow police officers initially responded. The dog belonged to Gonsalves and her ex-boyfriend, Jack Ducour. I found out from my interview with Jack Ducour on November 3rd, 2022, that he and Gonsalves shared the dog. OFC Smith then pointed out a small bathroom on the east side of the third floor. This bathroom shared a small wall with Madison Moguls, a hereafter Mogan bedroom, which was situated on the southeast corner of the third floor. As I entered this bedroom, I could see 2 females in a single bed. In the single bed in the room, both Gonsalves and Mogan were deceased with visible stab wounds. I also later noticed what appeared to be a tan leather knife sheath laying on the bed next to Mogan's right side when viewed from the door. The sheath was later processed, okay? So he could see it from the door. So first he says as I entered the room, he could see the girls in the bed. But then he says, I also noticed what appeared to be a tan leather sheath laying on the bed when viewed from the door. The sheath was later processed and had a K-bar, USMC, and the United States Marine Corps Eagle Globe and anchor insignia stamped on the outside of it. The Idaho State Lab later located a single source of male DNA suspect profile left on the button snap of the knife sheath. As part of the investigation, numerous interviews were conducted by Moscow Police Department officers, Idaho State Police detectives, FBI agents. 2 of the interviews included BFDM. Both BFDM were inside the King Road residence at the time of the homicides and were roommates to the victims. BF's bedroom was located on the east side of the first floor, that's Bethany, of the King Road residence. Let's see, that's 2. Because this is it's not written in good order here. And then the rest goes on by where the girls were that night. I'm gonna stop here because it's a lot to read. DM stated she originally went to sleep in her bedroom on the southeast side of the second floor. DM stated she was awoken around 4 by what stated sound like Gonzalez playing with her dog in one of the upstairs bedrooms, which were located on the 3rd floor. A short time later, DM said she heard, oh Lord, who she thought was Gonzalez saying something to the effect, "There's someone here." Review of records obtained from a forensic download of Cornoto's phone showed this could also have been Cornoto, as her cellular phone indicated she was likely awake using TikTok's app at approximately 4:12 a.m. DM stated she looked out of her bedroom, did not see anything when she heard the comment about somebody being in the house. DM stated she opened her door a second time when she heard what she thought was crying coming from Cornoto's room. So one time she hears somebody talking. She hears Kaylee say, "I think somebody's here." Second time, she's hearing crying from Cornoto's room. Then I think I also heard them say she thought it was the bathroom. DM then said she heard a male voice saying something to the effect of, "It's okay, I'm going to help you." At approximately 4:17, a security camera located at 1112 King Road, a residence immediately to the northwest of 1122 King Road, picked up distorted audio of what sounded like voices or a whimper followed by a loud thud. A dog also can be heard barking numerous times starting at 4:17 a.m. So we got one person on the app at 4:12, TikTok. That would be Xana. 4:17, 5 minutes later, there's noise on the audio of somebody crying, loud thud. A dog can also be heard barking numerous times. 4:17. It's only 5 minutes. Security camera is less than 50 feet from the west wall of Cornoto's bedroom. DM stated she opened the door for the 3rd time after she heard the crying and saw a figure clad in black clothing, mask that covered the person's mouth, nose, walking towards her. DM described the figure 5'10", taller male, not very muscular, but athletically built with bushy eyebrows. The male walked past DM as she stood in a frozen, shocked face. The male walked towards the back sliding glass door. DM locked herself. Let's see. Had to pick it up. Locked herself in her room after seeing the male. DM did not state that she recognized the male. This leads investigators and believe that the murderer left the scene. I want to stop there. Hello, everybody in the chat. Well, this is crazy to me. 5 females. The head knocker here, who's hearing all this disturbance. 5 minutes. 5 minutes, Dougie Fresh, you're on. 5 minutes. That means he was quick. As you heard me reading the article earlier. The defense is going to try to bring someone on. Or the state's going to bring somebody on the show that people can be killed in so many minutes. I guess so, considering how big the knife was. But 5 minutes ain't a lot of time. TikTok app, 4:12, and then somebody's crying by 4:17. That's pretty damn quick. And this girl is up, Dylan, opening and closing doors. Make it make sense. And now we learn these two started their texting games with outsiders at 7:30 up until almost 12. This don't make no damn sense. You're not going to sit here and tell me that you all were in any shock. Who the fuck is getting on Git Gat, TikTok, Instagram after seeing somebody with a ski mask on? And the state just feels like, well, we'll show the court. They were up, they were texting people. But what you don't seem to understand, you're trying to establish a timeline, but in establishing a timeline, this looks bad. This does not correlate to shock. Shock will be getting under the covers and lying still, motionless, scared to speak, scared to move, scared to use the bathroom, scared to use the phone, scared to breathe. You just saw a man walk by with a fucking ski mask on. Then you're up at 7:30 calling your mama, your daddy, your sister, your cousin, your brother, Pookie, Ray, Bubba. Come on now. I just read you all those people, they were texting different people. So now we're talking about other people having knowledge. So now, since somebody says we shouldn't be playing the blame game, victim blaming, shaming, I will say this to Mr. Gonsalves directly. You thought it was okay for all these other people to know that something went on in that house and they didn't even call 911? Bingo card. So now it goes deeper than just Bethany and Dylan. Other people knew that something happened. Now we got to ask what they actually said to all these people in the text messages and phone calls. You can see it. I just read it to you. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. 4 hours. Way over 4 hours. 7:30 to 11:56. That's a lot of texting. So what are they saying to these people? Now, here comes the gist of the story. Law officials, did you call and talk to the people who are in the text messaging? Did you ask them what was said to them? Oh, I would love to have been a fly on the wall. What did they say the girl said to them? Ding, ding, ding. So that means you all want to tell us that these two gonna testify. No, I believe you might want to bring them other people into the court to make it make some sense. Because you can't really have one without the other. I'm not going to want to be a jury member just hearing such and such texted somebody at 7:30, 8 o'clock, 8:02. No, I want to have the other person testify to tell me what was said and their perception of the text and the phone exchange. Bingo card. Why are you all on social media apps talking to whom and looking at what? Yes, taking pictures of what exactly? But you two never left the room. So what are you taking pictures of yourself? Taking selfies? Kind of like what Korberger did when he got home, freshened up, took a shower. After he came back from the house the second time, he decided to wash his nasty body, wash that stench off for murdering 4 kids, sweating, running around, disposing of clothes, shoes, knives, knife sharpener. Oh, did you hear that? He bought that on Amazon back in March 2022. Checkmate. Possibly been stalking these girls a year or more. So naturally, they're going to tie all that into his data when he started looking, liking, following the girls. Did he buy the knife to murder someone? Possibly so. And I'm sure they're going to tie all that in with the phone data. This is a dirty, dirty story. And the DA, bless their hearts, somehow they think by releasing these text messages and phone calls, it's going to really mean something on the timeline. Yeah, it looks good for the timeline, but what it don't look good, people are up, they're supposed to be shocked and traumatized. They're texting and watching cartoons and shit. Yeah, I just threw that in there. Hell, let's run a Netflix movie. I ain't got nothing to do. You bored? I'm bored too. Come on. Let's see what's on Netflix. Just saying. This is abhorrent. And then we got the stupid 911 call where everybody's playing hot potato with the cell phone, but yet nobody ain't supposed to have an opinion. Don't blame them. Don't blame them. You got people who are logical thinkers attorneys who have commented on this, and they can't wrap their head around why nobody called 911. And now that this is getting out, that they get to see the time of them texting different people, you know this is bad. It looks fucked up. And there's no dancing around it. Whether the kids are dead or not, it's principle. You never called. And then you're showing the world you don't even care about yourself, that the killer could come back. He made a way in. It didn't dawn on none of you two dizzy ass girls how the fuck the man got in your house and that he could come back. Oh, and by the way, Korberger did come back. Ding, ding, ding. He sat outside your house. He sat outside your house. I mean, do you two even think about what the fuck happened to your friends? You know, them girls right there? Because you don't seem quite concerned from this information. I'd be scared to touch a phone, do anything. I wouldn't even want nobody hearing me breathe in that. Because I'm trying to figure out, who is this man that just walked by me? I got to get the fuck out of here. Come on, girl. Let's go. Get your shoes, get your coat, get your purse. Let's get out of here. And then guess what? Nobody's answering their phone, and you still don't put two and two together. Masked man, nobody's answering their phone. 10:23, let's give some hours. After you done called everybody but fucking Donald Trump, you still don't walk outside your damn bedroom and say, let me go knock on the door. Let me go see if they're up. This is the stupidest shit I've ever heard in my life. Why are you all texting people? Is everybody this crazy when it comes to texting? Because we've heard of people doing it inside their house. People texting their kids in another room. Hey, dinner's ready. So much for yelling and saying, hey, dinner's ready. We're not texting people to say dinner's ready. Hey, we're ready to go. Come on, get your shoes, get your cleats. We're going. Out the door. Meet me at the car. Text. Type. This is ridiculous to me. This new way of living, I don't want no parts of it. Because I see it every day. Just talking to random people, I realize how ridiculous everyone has become pertaining to social media, text messaging, video chatting. Is out of control. People cannot even hold a civilized conversation without, number one, looking at their phone, scrolling their phone. Scroll. The house is on fire. You're looking at TikTok, Facebook. The dog is choking on a bone. You're on Yik Yak, TikTok. Somebody is sending you a dire message. Can you please call me? It's an emergency. Type. What is it? What's the matter? People have become devoid of emotion due to the cell phone and the computer. It needs to stop. Because this is not how you want to end up. Like this one and that one. And definitely not that one, and that one, and Mr. Ethan Chapin. You want to be around people who are aware of their faculties. And I've noticed it even when I went out Wednesday night. Grown-ass women sitting at the bar looking at their phone the whole time. Can't even engage with the other people in the bar. Then why even go out? Why even go out if you're going to sit there and look at your phone all damn night? You go out to eat with somebody, you're on your phone all day. You're sitting at the table, you can't even eat your food because you're scrolling. These two were not in shop. You couldn't have been. You couldn't even have 3 hours of sleep. You're up at 7:30 texting people. When did you sleep? So you lied to the police and said you slept for 8 hours, Dylan. That's a lie. You ain't slept no 8 hours. And Bethany, you ain't slept no 8 hours either. You could have slept 8 hours if you're on the phone at 7:30. Shall we go back with the receipt? Let's go back. Bethany calls her dad 7:30. She calls him back 8 o'clock. She calls another number, 8 o'clock. She calls home again 1 minute later. She calls her mom again a minute later. 7 minutes later, the dad calls Bethany back. 8:05 to 10:45. That's like 2 hours. Dylan's on Instagram. It's crazy. 8:41, 1 minute. Bethany's taking photos. 9:04, mom texts Bethany. Are you seeing this bullshit? 10 o'clock, 10:01. Dylan is messaging incoming and outgoing Snapchat. And these are so-called friends. Make it make sense. Got the transcripts, got the call logs. The state thinks they're showing us something. What you're showing me is what I already thought 2 years ago. They never gave a fuck. They didn't care about themselves. They didn't care about their friends. They didn't care about the livelihood, of anyone. And if you don't care enough about yourself, this is common sense. You can't care about anybody. It's kind of like love. What is the old saying? You can't love people when you don't love yourself. Exactly. Are you really going to get somebody out of a burning building when you're stupid enough to still be sitting in the burning building your damn self? Oh, it's just a little fire. It'll put itself out. I want to be on TikTok. TikTok, yik yak, it's more important. I gotta call my friend. I gotta call my mom, my dad, my sister, my brother. Hell, did you call the gynecologist? I'm just saying. Call every fucking body in the universe, but you're stunned, shocked. I didn't know what to do. You can't say you didn't know what to do, honey, because you all were busy after 4:30. See, we don't even know what time these heifers went to sleep. And there is no way in my right mind, after what I just read you from the call logs, they slept. You all were up like Korberger was up. Bingo card. Shut your mouth, Queen. Korberger, isn't that right? You didn't go to bed, and these two roommates didn't go to bed. And Lord have mercy, please. Nobody brings us a surprise in court that these girls knew this man. Because I do not want to believe it. But your behavior is weird and just disrespectful to me. It's just disrespectful to the universe, to the spirit, that you would just sit up here and just act like you ain't seen this man walk by with a fucking ski mask on. You don't even think to get yourself out your own house and say, fuck it, we'll call the police. If we're wrong, we're wrong. If it's a prank, hey, we know now we don't need to live here with these girls. They play too much. Call a spade and move on. What difference do it make? Go find another apartment somewhere. Brooke says, why? I don't know, Brooke. But the evidence is here. And you all know Queen. I'm not going to argue with nobody about nothing that's got a receipt. And this receipt shows that these girls were on some other shit. I'm not even about to sit here and say they were on dope, they were high, they were smoking. You seem quite lucid to me. And I'm going to keep saying it. Just like I'm sitting up here right now, it is dark 30 in Tennessee. God forbid if I was to go into the shower, into the bed, I heard a noise, I get up and see a whole human with a ski mask walking towards the door. You know this big girl about to break a motherfucking ankle trying to get to that door and lock it. And I'm calling 911. And I'm getting ready to push this bed up to the door and tell them, hurry, hurry, hurry. And identify yourself when you get to the front door so I can move this bed and run down this corridor and open the door for you. And guess what? I'm getting ready to ask them to take me to the Red Cross because I'm not sleeping in this apartment. How about that? Because that means somebody got access to my apartment. You think I'm going to sleep in here? knowing you came in here and I ain't gave you no key, and I don't even know who the hell you are. Hell no. These girls weren't friends. That's my opinion. This one couldn't even describe the crime scene properly. To say, oh, it's two people in the room passed out. You hear in the transcript I just read to you, did you hear the detective say he was stumbling to get into Xana's room? Did he tell you something was pushed up against the door? Did he say somebody was blocking the door? I told y'all quit listening to that damn gossip. Let them bring your receipt when you believe everything that you hear. Because we now know lies were told 2 years ago about somebody passing out outside. And we can't let that slide either. Somebody either intentionally put that rumor out or they misunderstood what was said to them and they put the rumor out. Either way, it's a lie. And that's still a problem for me. And I'm sure a lot of people right now from Idaho to New York is sitting here thinking the same damn thing. Okay, well, I'm listening to the 911 call. Ain't nobody passed out outside. So who started that lie exactly? So, Mr. Gonsalves, you can say all you want to the news and tell us what we should think and how we should feel, and nobody should blame the girls. I ain't never blamed them girls for murdering. What I'm saying is their behavior afterwards is suspect, which is why a lot of people feel like maybe they were involved because it don't add up. It didn't add up in 2022, and it don't add up in March of 2025. Checkmate. And you cannot glaze over, number one, the 911 call and their behavior, and them not describing the scene properly, such as, I smell blood, I smell death. Two of my friends, there's no way you're going to miss Ethan as big as he was. Stop this bullshit. I showed you a diagram of the house earlier. The bedroom was too little for anybody to sit up and say they can't see both of them in the damn room. They didn't have no big bedrooms. So stop this bullshit. Daylight, dark, light in the room. You can see two people laying on the floor. And how you gonna miss the blood if you standing over there and you tapping her? Xana, wake up, wake up. This don't make no sense. You talk on the 911 call for damn near 3 minutes and never say, oh, by the way, it's two of my friends in the room. Nobody mentioned Ethan's name until the end of the fucking call. Help me understand why. Bethany or Dylan, whichever one of you, slipped up and said, yes, 20, both of them. And the damn dispatch didn't even catch it. She should have said, what did you say? Both of them. I thought it was just one person. Man, let me tell you something. Just recently, myself, being out, trying to have a good time, God always put people in my path to show me, Queen, you ain't got no problems. Queen, you need to keep staying to yourself because you cannot rely on people. They don't have your back. They will not have your back. And I get a reminder every time I deal with women, and I can speak from experience from this week. I don't even like dealing with women. I've been this way ever since high school. All my good friends were males from high school to college. I just don't like hanging with women. This right here is a reason why. You act like you can't think for yourself. And I don't want to be in your company when you have to be in a situation where you need to use your fucking brain and you can't. That's a problem for me. And it's just like what this YouTuber was saying on his channel today, Willie D. You got to know the company you in. You got to know the people you hanging around. You can get yourself dead or killed fucking with the wrong people, hanging with the wrong people. Because he was talking about the death of Mo 3. Yellow Beezy has been charged with the murder. Meant to tell you all that earlier. Yellow Beezy, the rapper, has been charged in the murder of Mo 3. He's been accused of hiring a hitman. I will do a live about that probably tomorrow because there hasn't been any uploads on the news station. It's just a bunch of regular people talking about that right now. But he made a great point during his live last night. You got to know the company you in. You can't just go to anybody's house. You can't just go sit in anybody's car. You can't just pick up people. You got to know people. And I see this every time I deal with people. Get a ride with people. They're drunk, ain't paying attention to the car. Damn near killed me the other night. You got to be aware. People, you can't trust people to do right. You know how many people are dead right now because of the people they were fooling with? People are missing right now because of the company they kept. So anybody can sit up and say what they want. Oh, nothing was going to save them. It don't matter. It's principle. Act like you care. Because if you're acting like this at 20, we're 2 years in. How are you behaving now? What's your mindset now? I thought about that. When somebody took a picture of Dylan running that winter near her house, and the first thing I was thinking to myself, I said, well, I see she's getting back in the groove of things, exercising. But my better half was saying, I don't know if I'd be out there running in the cold, short shorts. Why? Hell no, I'm not leaving this fucking house. And I can't remember if that picture was taken after Korberger was arrested or not, but I wouldn't be outside running. I don't think I would have been outside running even when Korberger was caught. Some people might say, well, I took a job. They think they got the right person. I think I would wait to make sure. Because in the end, I was the one in the house, not outsiders. And I also wonder, how did they navigate after these murders when they left school? You mean to tell me you could go to bed and sleep in your parents' house after your friends were butchered? You could sleep in the dark? You could walk through your house in the dark. Come on, we're going to keep it real now. You could walk through your house in the dark, go to the bathroom, go to the kitchen, and not think of your friends butchered. I don't know how you can do that. I don't know how you can do that. I don't know how you could navigate afterwards. And I get it. After trauma, sometimes it's a week, a month, 2, 3, 4, 2 months, 2 years, 4 years. A person starts to navigate. They start to live a little. Don't have bad dreams. Don't have bad thoughts. But I'm going to tell you now, almost 2.5 years later, I still believe I will probably still be fucked up from seeing that person with a ski mask walk by. Because that would always be on my mind. Every time I lay down and close my eyes, wake up, go to the bathroom in the middle of the night, I would think, oh my goodness, am I going to wake up and see somebody standing over me? Hear somebody breathing in the room, somebody under the bed, somebody's in a closet. Not that one. This bitch is outside running, taking a job. Matter of fact, I'm gonna dig in the belly of the beast and see if I can pull up the date of that. Welcome to the Vault. Excel, everybody. I thought she's still not aware of her surroundings. Careless. Why you say that, bro? Okay, I pulled it up. Let's take a look, everybody. Surviving Idaho roommate Dylan Mortensen is seen outside her parents' home for the first time since it was revealed she froze in fear when she spotted the killer. Dylan Mortensen, 19, at her family home in Boise, Idaho, Sunday morning after a trip to Starbucks. Wearing shorts in chilly weather and her hair pulled back, she saw the murderer the night of the killings, describing him as 5'10", having bushy eyebrows, frozen fear after spotting the killer who was alleged to be Brian Koberger. This article was uploaded January 9th, 2023. We learned that he was apprehended at the end of December. So you're talking about just a little over a week, and a 19-year-old Dylan is outside running. One week. Now, many people will weigh that differently. Some will say, well, Queen, they had already arrested him when she took the job. Then somebody else will say, well, I don't give a damn if they did arrest him. I ain't going outside by my damn self, jogging nowhere, morning, noon, or night. You're entitled to your opinion. I just thought I'd show it to you. Think it makes sense? Right or wrong, jog outside. Killer cop, I'm going outside. I gotta run. I gotta exercise. So what? They died. Big deal. I want some air. 1 week. Don't you think the title of the article was proof in the pudding? Surviving Idaho roommate Dylan Mortensen is seen outside her parents' home for the first time since it was revealed she froze in fear when she spotted the killer. Exclusive. 44-degree weather. Mortensen had her blonde hair tied back for a brief outing to a Starbucks close to her home. She also wore a navy blue fleece top. So she was younger than all of them. Both girls are 19, even though they're all close in proximity to age. But they were 19, so they were the youngest in the house. Kaylee and Maddie, they were 21. They say Ethan was 21, Xana 20. So they had his name wrong unless his birthday came after December or November. Lord have mercy. Yeah, crazy. There's a lot of talk at the moment pertaining to Koberger and this picture he took the morning of in his bathroom. He bought a knife, sharpener, and sheath March of 2022, way before he touched down on soil, okay? Way before he touched down on soil. So it seems like every day there's something new coming out pertaining to this case. 911 call revealed. Now the text messages and the timeline of the text messages between the two girls and people that they knew. Picture of Koberger. My understanding, he didn't really take selfies. So what prompted him to take a selfie November 13th at 10:31 a.m.? and also purchased and accessories March 2022. She lost all her fare very quickly, if you ask me. Say what, Brooke? Lost her fare. As I said before, the state is trying to prove a timeline. But what the point I'm seeing, these girls don't seem traumatized. So see, that's why I always said everything's about your perception. The state is trying to show why they were up. They were up for a reason. But what they can't explain are emotions. Just like the 911 call. I feel like it was orchestrated. I just can't say that it was genuine. Not now hearing these text messages and calling from 7:30 up to almost 12. This don't sound like somebody concerned to me. Don't sound like somebody shocked to me. Don't sound like somebody fearful, traumatized to me. So then why would I believe at 11:55, 11:56, you were traumatized when you called with all that huffing and puffing and crying and shit? How could that call been genuine after now seeing you on the phones since 7:30 in the morning? You have not slept for 8 hours. I said that the other day. I've been saying it all week. No way they slept for 8 hours. And we now know they didn't. So why you lie? See, I always tell people, what people say to the police and what the police prove are two different things. What I tell the news versus what I tell the police is two different things. Bingo card. Because what I tell the police, I don't expect for you to know what I tell the news. Vice versa. Police don't tell the news stuff. They might know stuff and they'll never come out and say, yeah, what that lady told you in that interview is a lie. What that guy told you is a lie. That happens every day. You know that from watching true crime. Oh, I came home, she was gone. Her purse was on the counter. She just left. Now that's what he's telling the news. But then he done told somebody else a different version. Oh, she left me, she moved to Colorado. True story. So now we got a friend coming forward and say, well, wait a minute. Why are you telling me this version, but that ain't what you told the news and ain't what you told the police? Exactly. Now, with all this new information of a 911 call and these texts and timeline of them calling and texting people. Now imagine what they'd have said in a recorded interview. Bingo card. Oh shit, shut your mouth. Now imagine that. Imagine listening to recorded phone calls of an interview to Dylan, Bethany, and God forbid anybody that they called that morning. Lord have mercy. Well, she claimed she was so scared and fearful for her life. Yes, different narratives. Hello, Amy. Because it happens every day with true crime. Something a detective said the other night when I was watching, I think 48 Hours. He said, you know, or somebody said it in one of the crime shows. He said, I've seen it. Oh, it might have been on video. It might have been on court TV. He said, I've talked to people who they killed the person, but they ain't got no emotion in the 911 call. Yeah, I believe that's Vinnie Politan. And that's the point. There are people who, yes, they have murdered people, and they're the ones who's calling 911. Hey, can you send the ambulance? My wife is dead. I just shot her. Hey, can you send someone out? My wife hasn't come home. She's been gone for 6 hours. I don't know where she is. But they do know where she is because they killed her. We have seen full 911 calls for years. So you're entitled to your opinion if you believe these kids were genuine in the 911 call. But in my opinion, they can't be genuine because the description in the 911 call don't match how those kids were found. 911, what is your emergency, please? I don't know what happened. I don't really know what happened. I just know a man walked by with a mask. Ma'am, did somebody pass out? I don't know. Well, why are you calling me? See, they didn't get no ghetto ratchet ass dispatcher that had a bad damn day and answered that damn 911 call. They would have got fired. Well, why the hell you calling this dispatch and you don't know nothing about your own house? Come on now. Well, I don't know. Well, do you live there, ma'am? Yes. Okay. Did you see somebody passed out? I don't know. Okay. So, ma'am, why are you calling me? Why are you calling me, ma'am? See, it was fake. You told that operator, I don't know what happened here. And it goes from that to somebody passed out. Then a girl takes the phone. She's describing what happened, but yet she don't live there. Make it make sense? How's a complete stranger talking to the operator? And then she's descriptive more than Dylan and Bethany, which makes me think, were there other people in the house when all this shit was going on? Because somebody in the chat said that day before yesterday, Queen, I think somebody else was in the house with them. And I thought, oh, Lord, don't start that. But now that listening to this little girl, how is it you know more than what they know? She was drunk and passed out. Well, whoever you are, no, you kind of got that wrong. She may have been drinking. She may have been legally drunk, but she's dead. Checkmate. Her friend Ethan was dead. So when you all went to the room, whatever time that was, they were not passed out. They were legally dead. There's a difference. And the fact that you all did not mention Ethan, I'm going to beat that horse down. Why not? Why not? Because we hear the detective in this piece of paper. He saw, I guess, Xana first. But wouldn't that pique your interest if you see your friend laying down first, the female? Wouldn't you still be peeping in the room? Like, wait a minute, I think Ethan's here, his car's outside, or however they go if his car was there. Let me peep some more in this room. You mean to tell me you missed that big old boy laying down on the floor? Laying down, propped up, however it went. Make it make sense. And you don't see no stab wounds on these people. You don't see blood on their clothes. You called a 911 with a story of they are passed out. See, this is why I know this is orchestrated, because we already know how the children died. And there's no way they were passed out when you saw them. They were dead and they were brutally murdered. And you didn't explain that to the dispatch, and I want to know why. And I want to know why you didn't mention that two people were dead together in the same room or close proximity. And I just read what the detective said. They both were in the room. So help Queen understand why that was not described in the 911 call. So miss me with this shock value stuff. Death has its own unique smell. You don't even have to have been around death to know it. I remember years ago, I had got wind that one of our neighbors had passed away on a third floor. And my interest was piqued, my macabre interest. Why I went up there on that third floor, I don't know, curious. As I come off the elevator, there was a big space, which would be like a lobby. Every floor had like a lobby. Come off the elevator, past the lobby, go down the hall. He was like just a few doors down on the left. I can tell you, as I start to approach his apartment door, you could smell a faint, distinctive odor. Almost kind of sweet smell, but it still had a little rankness in it. And I said, that's what death smells like. Wow. And I remember being outside the day the ladies came to clean his apartment. And when they came out the door, they had a broom, mop, inside of a heavy white plastic, see-through plastic. And when I turned my head and looked at them going toward their vehicles, I could see brown stuff in the plastic bag. And then I used my deduction, that's what was left behind after he passed away. He'd been in an apartment for about 3 weeks. Leslie, I think, had a heart attack, and he died sitting upright, what was said, sitting up on the wall. And obviously he, sold out himself and different bodily fluids. So that's what those ladies had in that bag after cleaning his apartment. And I think back to that every blue moon, what death smells like. So I want to say this from that experience and the experience of going in a house where my cousin killed himself, shot himself in the head. And when I went to the apartment to help the wife clean up, naturally I couldn't, because when I stepped into the threshold, it was a townhouse, I smelled iron. And let me tell you, that townhouse was smaller than the house on King Road, if you get my drift. So if Queen could smell blood clots from the second floor bedroom in a smaller townhouse than the house on King Road, I think you see where I'm going with this commentary. There is no way in hell you did not smell death and blood at 7:30 a.m., 8:30, 9:30, 10:30, 11:30, 11:56. Checkmate. Exactly. Everything has its own odor. Bowel movement, urine, infection, blood, nose, ears, anything that comes out of an opening in your body, it has its own unique smell. I think you know that. You're a human being. Just like your feet smell, underarms, private parts, body sweat, it's all the same. So make it make sense. The detective said when he first opened the door to 1122 King Road, blood rose in his nose. They got there a few minutes after the 911 call, because you hear them saying the cop was there with the defibrillator. Make it make sense. So when you tell people how they should think, you don't have the right. Whether you have suffered a loss, a tragedy, you don't have the right to tell people how to think. We get it. There's a diplomatic way in trying to give your opinion, okay? But nobody in their right mind that has finished the 12th grade can deny that the 911 call is suspect. It does not match the scene of the crime. And now we learn that these people were up texting and calling people for hours. That shit don't add up either. And that's not a myth. That's not even to me, perception. To me, it's the truth. You can't deny it. So whether the children could have been saved or not, this shit is foul to me. And I don't see how they walk around and this shit ain't never happened. Because you got to take some ownership. I could have at least helped them catch this fucker. He walked free for a whole month. That is important. He just killed 4 people. And I tell you something else I get sick of hearing. When they go to a crime scene and they say, well, I think this is isolated. Think about what you're saying. You're going to have some 4 dead people. You start doing the forensics, and then you're going to go to the public and say, don't worry, this was isolated. Do you hear yourself? Do you know how stupid that sounds? That is the stupidest thing to say to people after 4 people have been found in a house or 6 people found in a house. This was isolated. It don't matter that the person knew the victims or didn't know the victims and they went in and killed 6 people, 7 people. They're still walking free, dodo bird. They have the propensity to kill. What are you missing? Oh, I think it was personal. No shit. Well, nobody gives a fuck about that. They're on the run. You're looking for a human who just butchered people, shot people. But, oh, it's personal. Don't fear. I want you all to think about that when the cops make that type of statement. And they make it often. Oh, it was personal. Don't worry, you're okay. But he's on the run. We're looking for Pookie, Ray, Bubba. But you're okay. Then sometimes they'll say, oh, don't approach him. He's got a weapon. No shit. You can't trust anyone who has just murdered 4 people, personal or not. Whether Kohlberger knew those kids or not, he just butchered them. He came back to the house. He's taking selfies at 10:31, and you're going to say, oh, don't worry. I don't think the killer wants you. Oh, okay. Thank you. I feel safer now. Do you think those kids at the University of Idaho felt safe for 1 month? Do you think they still felt safe after Kohlberger was apprehended? Probably not. I'm sure many children left school, did not return back to Idaho. Kids nearby probably left Washington State because they said they were in fear as well. It's only 15 minutes away. And that happens to be the school where the dodo bird went to. And I also find it strange and odd that Xana's sister was at Washington State while Kohlberger was there, as I was telling Pale Ryder on the phone last night. Very coincidental. Everybody's connected from Washington State to Idaho. But yet nobody knew each other. Put that on paper. Nobody knew each other, but we've got 4 dead kids in Idaho and a sister of the dead girl at the same university with Kohlberger. Checkmate. Coincidence? Maybe. Or this was planned a long time in advance. Are we going to find out Kohlberger planned this 8 months or more in advance? He deliberately applied to school in Washington State and or Idaho, got in at Washington State, and put a plan into motion to kill targets. That would be even more devastating. That this was pre-planned 8 months to a year in advance. That this creature moved out to Pacific Northwest to wreak havoc on innocent kids. And then gloat about it in an hour and a half later, hour later. Weird, quirky, chubby kid, teased, got a drug problem, cleaned his act up, went to school, went all the way, waits to get a PhD, and start hacking up people. I knew he was weird, but I didn't think he'd do that. Know your friends. Know your neighbor. Know your loved one. But how can you? Because you can't climb into a person's brain. Can't climb into a person's heart to know how they really feel about the world. As I said to Pale Rider earlier, Korberger didn't like anybody. The students made that clear. He was stern, he didn't talk much, wasn't friendly. And even the neighbor's girlfriend said he acted weird and she didn't want him back in the apartment. Korberger didn't like himself, so he couldn't like others. Self-hatred is the worst kind of hatred. So if I don't have regard for myself, I can't have regard for you. Pay attention. He didn't love himself. How are you going to love yourself? You don't even like yourself. So now you're out in the universe navigating, pretending to be a human when you don't have any empathy. You don't know how to hold a conversation. You don't know how to talk to people. You don't know how to engage with people. And you see people like this every day. You're looking at them saying, dear God, who gave birth to you? They don't know how to talk. Everything's negative. Everything's condescending. Flat ass answers to questions. Deflection. Talk around the subject. Those are empty creatures. And Lord knows I can speak from experience. Usually those type of people are the people who do end up on the news committing a crime. Because there's nothing in them. They're cotton. They're stuffed with cotton. As I said about that certain person who I was interested in months ago, what did I say about this person during a live stream? I said, he reminds me of the Flip Wilson doll that I used to have as a kid. Flip Wilson had a TV show where he would dress up in drag and pretend to be Geraldine. Some of you remember that show if you're near Queen's age. That cotton doll that my mother bought me as a child had Flip on one side, Geraldine on the other. Okay? Inside of this doll is cotton. Underneath the doll is a string you pull, and the doll would make funny jokes that Geraldine or Flip would say on the TV show. So they won't now. That's what that doll reminded me of, dealing with a certain person. Two-sided, two-faced, alternate personalities, stuffed with cotton, no emotion, pull the string, make it talk. Korberger is the same. A doll stuffed with cotton, two-sided, pull the string, make it talk, pre-recorded voice inside of the doll. Checkmate. Sadly, there are many people walking around like my so-called friend, Mr. Professional, and Mr. Korberger. Now, I don't know that my friend has murdered anybody, but the point is, you don't have anything in you, you're empty inside, you can become a Korberger. Because the point is, how far will you go? I've said it 1,000 times, carry a lie, cover a lie. That's how people become murderers. I got to do this to cover this, to cover this, to cover this. You don't know people. Many people probably are saying that about Kohlberger. Oh, he was weird. He was strange. He was different. Oh, but I didn't think he'd kill anybody. But you didn't know him. You don't know him. Kohlberger don't know his damn self. Just like somebody said on TV, he probably was studying psychology, criminal psychology, to learn about him. Let me study this and see what I can learn about myself. Because there's something wrong with me. I've got bad thoughts, horrible thoughts. And guess what? We're all human. We all have thought about doing things we shouldn't be doing, illegal things, but do we act on them? That's the difference. And I always tell people, pray that you don't end up harming someone, because it's not like you can't do it. You're only made of flesh. You're not a toy, you're not a doll. You can't act out. You can't pop off. The mind can split, and it don't take much. And I think you know this from watching true crime. All it takes is one incident to push a person over the edge. And usually it's a buildup, because most people just don't pop off because somebody said something or did something. It's a pattern, a continuance. And one day the mind says, well, tired of this, want out. And the demon climbs out. And that's what happened on November 13th. A demon climbed out of a box and landed at 1122 King Road for the pop-off. And sadly, nobody possibly saw the signs that this thing was unraveling right before their eyes. Exactly. We all have breaking points. And even the kids told it to the news that his disposition did seem strange, or different rather, after the kids were murdered. Now you think about that. He started grading their papers with higher grades. No questions asked. Now, one would say, well, damn. First he's giving me C's, D's, B minuses. Now I'm getting an A? Because he had released the beast. It was a long time coming. Don't know how long he had homicidal thoughts. Maybe even had suicidal thoughts. But instead he decided to take lives. And in no way am I going to sit here and think he was done. Even every killer you ever heard of that was a serial killer had a resting point before going back out into the abyss to kill another victim. Kohlberger was going to go back out. So when you say those two couldn't have saved anyone, you sound ridiculous. You sound ridiculous, and you sound disrespectful, considering your daughter was butchered and her friend was butchered by this maniac because he was free for a whole fucking month. And by the grace of God, he has not been linked to any other murders or assaults. One month is a long time for a person to be free after taking a life. And some people are still walking around and they have killed 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 30 years ago, and they still have breath in them. And nobody knows they have taken a life. And that's even scarier, that there are murders out here that are unsolved. So we're not going to make light of Kohlberger being, oh, he got apprehended a month later. Do you know how many people he could have killed in 1 month? empty airheads. I'm saying it, don't care. Two females who didn't even care about their own livelihood. And that's what's so baffling to me is when I sit here and dissect everything that's coming out, I'm trying to wrap my head around their actions and the fact that it's two of them. How do you get two people to agree to sit and do nothing? One person's one thing, but a second person, run, come to my room, run. You mean to tell me not one of them has sense to say, man, we need to call the police. We don't know who that guy is, and them girls, they're not answering their phones. I'm scared to go out of the room. We need to call the police. No, don't call. No. We'll just wait till daylight. Maybe they'll answer in the morning. So ring. Still no answer. Ring. No answer. Calling them on Snapchat, Instagram. No answer. So this is what makes no sense too. How long are you just gonna keep calling and messaging? You live in the same house with these people. Help Queen understand this, because this shit is barbaric to me. Just about as barbaric as what he did to the victims. You're gonna sit in the same house, feet away from dead people who are not answering their phone hour for hour, and your brain don't say, go to the room and knock on the door. These two bobbleheads act as if they were talking to people that lived across town and were calling their phones. Help me understand. You live in the same house with the people you are dialing. You heard a ruckus going on. A man walks by in a ski mask, walks out of the door, and all the noise stops. And you don't put two and two together? And all you can do is text. Text. You are so devoid of common sense. I don't want no friends like that. You blame it on age, upbringing, race, call it what you want. I don't want no friends like that. So we're going to role play, because it seems like that's the only way I can make people understand common sense. In the Queen. Ring. Ring. Hello. Hey, this is Queen. I'm scared. Oh my goodness, I'm frightened right now. What's the matter, Queen? There's a man that just walked by. He was headed toward the door. He had a ski mask on. He had on all black. Oh my God, I don't know what to do. Why the fuck are you calling me Queen? Go lock the door, Queen. Run back to your room, Queen. Lock your bedroom door, Queen. Call the police, Queen. Now, role play again. Ring. Ring. Hello. Yes, this is Queen. Oh my goodness. Oh my God. I was awakened and I heard something, and I looked down the hallway and I saw this guy. He had on a ski mask and he had on all black. He's walking out the door. What? Are you sure? Yes, I'm sure. Oh, Queen, don't worry about it. Go back to sleep. Call me later. Click. I'll let that sit right there. What type of friend would tell you to stay in the house and or not call 911. Please help me understand. Do you want a friend that would be oblivious to you seeing or feeling danger in your presence? Because a real friend would tell you to either run out or barricade yourself in your bedroom and dial 911. Because in the end, as I said before earlier in this live, even if the police comes to your house, ask you questions, take the information, where are you going to sleep? Where are you going to sleep? Because who wants to sleep in a house where a man just walked by with a ski mask and you know you ain't gave him no damn key? So after the police has asked you a gazillion questions, are you going to still sleep in that fucking house? Damn, Queen, that's deep. Oh, wait a minute. And the killer came back. Bingo card. At about 9:10 a.m. So that means the killer didn't even get no sleep his damn self. Because he was too busy getting rid of shit. And 11:22 was still on his damn mind. So he doubled back. He was a busy bee. And from the looks of it, Dylan and Bethany, they were also busy playing around on social media. Make it make sense. But somebody says we shouldn't judge. Thumbs up picture, Mr. Quarberger, picture blowed up the morning of November 13th, 10:31 a.m. Okay. Bethany calls her dad, 7:30, 8 o'clock, another number, 8:01 calls home, 8:02 calls her mom. No cares. $8:09, dad calls her back. 8:05 to 10, 2 hours plus. She's on Instagram, Dylan. 8:41, 8:42, Bethany's taking photos. 9:04, mom texts Bethany. What are they talking about? 10 o'clock, 10:01, Dylan is messaging incoming and outgoing Snapchat. To whom? To what? Make it make sense. In the motion, Quarberger's attorneys dispute the prosecution's claims that Mortensen woke up to realize her roommates hadn't responded to her text overnight. Mortensen tried to reach Gonsalves Mogan starting at 10:23 a.m., asking them if they were awake. Are you up? No reply. So 10:04 to 10:23 DM is messaging and incoming, outgoing Snapchat. 10:03 to 10:04, she's on Indeed. 10:01 to 10:03, Instagram. 10 o'clock to 10:01, messages, incoming, outgoing Snapchat. Make it make sense. Mortensen tried to reach Gonsalves Mogan once again, 10:23. Are you up? Stay woke, everybody. I'm woke. 10:23, DM text MM. Don't know who that is. 10:24, 10:25, Dylan's back on Instagram. 10:30, 10:45, messaging, incoming, Snapchat. Don't know who you're talking to. 10:56, 11:29, back on Instagram, messaging on Snapchat. 11:29, 11:32, Dylan is on Instagram, messaging, Snapchat. Don't know who it is. 11:35, she's on Yik Yak. 1 minute later, TikTok. 11:37, she's on Snapchat. 11:39, 11:40, she's texting her dad. And then we know the infamous call, 11:56, Bethany makes the phone call to 911. Does this sound like fear? Frozen shock state. Terrified. Fearful. Scared. I say no. The 911 call don't match the scene of Xana and Ethan. There was no description of Ethan in the 911 call. He's mentioned at the end of the call by saying both Bethany or Dylan is revealing their age. No description of a bloody scene. Unidentified girl describing someone passed out, which makes no sense. How would you know this? If you hadn't been in the house, checkmate. Hunter, same thing. What are you doing there? And why are all these people being called before 11:56? Why are these people on social media apps? Why are they calling parents? Why are they calling unknown people? I think you know why. They had already seen the bodies, possibly all of them, and knew it wouldn't look right to wait so long to call. So they had to have somebody do the work for them. And the sick part is those two people should have put two and two together that something was not right, Hunter and this unidentified female. And also the parents should have known something wasn't right, because right now we don't know what was said to the parents and these unidentified people in these text messages and phone calls. And that to me is even more disturbing, is what was actually said to these said people before 10:56 a.m. I say bullshit, I call bullshit. I say these people knew that those kids were dead and didn't give a fuck. And they laid in that house with dead people, smelling death, and played possum, and used Hunter and this girl to make it look like they found these bodies. And then we also have to question those two, that did they sense something wasn't right in their phone conversations? Because see, right now, somebody's got to prove what was exactly said on the phone and what was said in text messages. And will these people also testify in court? Hunter, unidentified female, and whoever else is in the text messages, including all parents. Clueless is an understatement. Like, share, subscribe, drop your comments below this video. Take the polls. I will put up a poll pertaining to this new information of the text messages. Follow the Queen on the Newsbreak app. If you see something, say something. Be a part of the solution and not the problem. Okay? You don't ever want to be a victim of homicide or an assault. So you need to be aware of the company you keep and get an idea of the company you're in. And the only way you're going to learn is you're going to have to be around people. And sadly, I don't think these people were the best of friends. If I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. But after the murders of these children, the proof is in the pudding. You don't care about yourself. You didn't care about these girls that are no longer alive and Mr. Ethan. Because in order to care for Kaylee, Maddie, Xana, and Ethan, you'd have to care about yourself. And on that fateful morning, you didn't even show regard for your own damn self. And that, to me, is appalling. And just outright crazy. And these people have time to think about their actions of November 13th. And that one day, they better pray and hope like hell they are never in a situation like their dead friends. And pray and hope that whomever company they're in, they will know how to react and do the right thing and do right by them. Because guess what? Dylan, Bethany, you don't want to ever be or end up like those ladies and that guy. And the one thing I've learned about this world, you can call it karma, you can call it the universe, energy. People usually do end up in the same situation that they came out of once before. And sometimes they don't fare well. If you'd like to donate to this great network, $BeganG129 Cash App. Stickers and chats are always welcome during the live stream. You have been listening to the Vault XL. Thank you.